Hey guys, so I just finished editing the video and I just wanted to pop in and say a few things before you watch the video. I had my friend Jordan come over because he is growing his social media following right now, and so I gave him a lot of these tips and tricks like specifically to him, and I thought it would be nice to have like his perspective on what's been working for him. And I also wanted to say I am so sorry about my hair. It was so dirty and I knew I was going to be wearing a wig right after, so I didn't want to spend a bunch of time washing and doing my hair just to get it ruined in a wig. It's pretty bad. I thought it wasn't bad until I watched the footage back, and it's so bad. I'm so sorry. So please ignore my greasy hair, please. Hopefully I answer all your questions about it. If you have any more, please leave them in the comments. I'll be down there checking them out and responding to anybody. And just keep in mind, this is what I did. I don't know the secret formula to what makes it work, to what is going to get you to grow, but I just want to help you guys, and this is the best advice I could give. And yeah, let's get into the video.
And now, our feature presentation.
Now let's welcome to the stage my friend Jordan.
Hey yo sis, what's team?
So anyway, we're both going to be talking about the little tips and tricks that I've done that have helped us and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. We were just like hanging out at like a get together, and you just got back from the Anastasia party.
Yeah, that's right.
And I just remember you just being straight up just like, Jordan, I want you at this Anastasia party. I want you to be that bitch because I know you are that bitch. And so I was just like, okay, damn, like how are we supposed to do all that? And when we got into it, like you just kind of shared a lot of tips and tricks, which we'll get into. But in that whole experience, I've gotten to have amazing experiences by like being posted by Jeffree Star, being liked by his cosmetic line. Kat Von D's featured me, and I was an artist doing a little tutorial.
So cute.
And like Dominique Cosmetics, Tatcha, like a lot of different brands have been like reaching out, and like before, like nothing, like I was just like, oh yeah, like I look cute with my highlighter or whatever, but like no one was ever noticing those things. And so to have them actually notice my like work and like what I'm doing and taking it more seriously, I feel like it's helped so much.
I love that. I'm so excited.
Like,
Because I knew you were amazing, and like you just need to be recognized for it, really. And that's
with
it.
a lot
There's
of
so many
people.
people. Yeah, there's so many talented people out there, and you just have to learn a few different ways on how to get yourself noticed, and then from there you can really just flourish. So yeah. So I talked to Jordan before we started filming and asked what was the biggest thing I said that helped you, and
there was a lot of things. So hashtags is probably the biggest one. So I did not know this was a thing until you like talked to me about it, but apparently like when you go to brands pages, you go to following and you can see what hashtags they're following, and that's a huge thing. Like if you want the brand to notice you, you want to be using the hashtags that they're obviously looking at. But I also think going on their brand page and also looking at like what are they sharing, what are they posting. Clearly it's a certain product, it's a certain look, or it's a certain color scheme.
mm-hmm.
And I think being mindful about that if you're trying to aim towards a certain brand to notice you and to kind of reshare your work is a huge one.
Yeah, because every brand has their own aesthetic and thing going on. So if you want them, like I almost, when I started, made it into a game where I'd pick a brand I really wanted to get noticed by. I think the first one I did was Kat Von D. So I would scroll on their page, see they like the dark, the like vampy, kind of edgy. And I would just start posting those kind of pictures using the right hashtags, and eventually they will catch on because it's what they're looking for. And you can do that with just about any brand.
Well, and I think another thing that helped me a lot too is there was that half and half photo that like blew up.
Yeah.
I don't know why it blew up, but it blew up.
Because it's amazing.
Wow. But like it was that photo, I feel like also got a lot of recognition from other brands as well, because a lot of people, like brands that were talking to me about like working with me or sending me PR, a lot of them caught eye on that photo, and that's what kind of started it too. So I think also like being creative and just kind of doing something that, you know, you want to do. Like everyone's doing the beige smoky eye, so don't do the beige smoky eye. You know, think about the shapes that you're doing and the color schemes, and you know, even maybe try products in a different way that is not being utilized. Like Jeffree Star, for example, like he shared that photo because I used that Drug Lord as like a mascara on my bottom lash line.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was the only product I used that was Jeffree Star out of all the other posts
But it
I've
was
ever
so
done.
different, and it's just a whole new way to use a product, and a brand's gonna love that because they can open up their like market for that product in a different way.
Yeah, or just to show like you can use it more than just a lipstick.
Let's also talk about with hashtags, using the right hashtags, because a problem I see a lot with people is they will use hashtags that are just way too broad, like hashtag lipstick, hashtag makeup of the day, or just something that has millions and millions of hashtags in it. So if you do post it, it'll be in that hashtag, but it's just going to get drowned out almost immediately because so many people are doing it. But you also don't want to do a hashtag that's like too specific to where no one's looking at it. You got to find that happy medium of, what would you say, like 100 to 500,000, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Finding something that people are actually searching. I always like to think somebody that will see this picture and want to follow me because of it, what are they looking for? Are they looking for a how-to cut crease? Are they looking for a dramatic black smoky eye with something, I don't know, just something specific to where you can put in those words? And is this making sense?
Yeah. Well, I think
I feel like I'm going over my words, but
like something to add on to that too. I think that like something that's helped me out to figure out hashtags is sometimes I'll like post a photo and, you know, certain brands will like repost another photo, and so sometimes I'll go onto those posts, I'll go to the original post and I'll see what hashtags they maybe be using, because even though you have the following hashtags, I think it's worth also looking at other hashtags that are being used and kind of toying around with it and kind of playing with different hashtags and see how they affect your algorithm overall.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, sorry, I had to stop the video again because Jordan actually makes a really great point right here, and I want to kind of break it down just a little bit more. So what he's saying is you can go into, say you go to the Anastasia page and you find a picture that they've reposted. Go to the person's name who posted that and look at what hashtags they had used that got Anastasia to see their photo to then repost it. If you're seeing a certain hashtag that's showing up in a lot of people's photos that are getting reposted, then you know those are the kind of hashtags you need to be using because obviously they're working for other people. Okay, back to the video.
I think another one that helped me out too, and like you were, I never thought of this until you and that one guy mentioned it. I don't remember his name, unfortunately. But like the locations, like using locations on your photos, I think also played a huge effect as well. Because I think that with Instagram, they want you to use everything that they have on the platform. And so I think that also like allowed people to see my photos a lot easier as well, because it's just, you're utilizing what Instagram already has.
Yeah, and then Instagram likes you, so they're gonna work you into your like other algorithms more. Like I started, when I started doing locations, I do a location like at a mall nearby, so if anyone is there, you're gonna pop up in the recommended more often. And yeah, just doing all that kind of stuff helps a lot as well. One thing I like to tell people too, because I feel like a lot of people don't do this, is when you do tag a brand, I always like at them in the comments when I'm listing out what products I use, but you have to tag them in the actual picture. I know from having a big following, people will tag me in the description, and that notification just gets buried in other notifications. So if you don't actually tag me in it, I can't go back and look at my tagged pictures, if that makes sense. So yeah, some people will only tag like, I used at Anastasia's dip brow, but they're never gonna see it unless you tag them specifically in the picture.
Well, another thing you could do as well is using your hashtags and like putting that in the description is what I've been doing as well. Like instead of putting it in the comments, because I think you were the one telling me, saying that like Instagram is a little funky when you do it in the comments because they see it as spam. And so doing it in the description helps out a lot more in terms of like people recognizing it easier, and also to make sure your like comment doesn't get deleted, because like that's happened before.
Yeah. So I think just to be safe, I would say absolutely put your hashtags in the description.
I think also one other thing I want to say is, so if you look at my photos, there's like a giant jump in terms of quality, and like I had the Pixel one, and then when I jumped to my iPhone, that's what I use currently now for like all my photos. And I know that you use your iPhone as well.
Yeah, for everything.
And so I think that like investing in a good camera, whether it be an iPhone or actually getting an actual DSLR camera, but not everyone has the money for that.
I sure don't.
I sure don't either.
No
but
one here.
I think that like doing that has allowed me to get better quality out there, and also editing. The biggest things that I focus on, like you already made your editing photo, insert here. But I think also like things I look at a lot too is undertones in photos is like the biggest one, because I don't have the best lighting. I don't have a ring light at home, but I try to make my photos look like there's a ring light in the room. And so I like to intensify the brightness a little bit, and I also like to adjust the like warmth and undertones in the room. Like what I'll do is I'll go to like Facetune, for example, and I'll use like the filter app, and I'll use like the blue filter and kind of like dissolve all the yellow that's in the room, and also bring back some of the like tan and use like some of the reds in there as well with the filters. Makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it is like you don't have to have the nicest of equipment. It is good to have the best you can, but there are ways like that to make sure your quality looks as good as it can, so that brands are more willing to post your pictures and it'll fit in with their feed better. So it is a lot of trial and error, but you just, trying to get to that point, keeping in mind what brands are looking for. I wonder if we should go over like PR lists. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I've never recommended reaching out to brands to get on PR lists.
Never.
I used to have my logo as my icon on Instagram, and I think people thought I was a makeup brand for a long time because I would get like probably at least 5 messages a day asking to be on my PR list. And it cracked me up because I was like, I'm not selling anything. And each, like you could tell it was just a cut and paste, put the name here and send it to everyone. I'm like, it got to the point where even if I was a brand looking for people on a PR list, I wouldn't have looked through there because it was so overwhelming and you don't know who's being genuine. So it's really a better idea to just wait and kind of find a brand you love and work towards being something that they love instead of emailing them, because I've never had an experience where I've emailed a brand and they've gotten back to me being like, oh yeah, this is great, let's do it.
Yeah.
So
well, and to add into that too, I think that like, I mean, everyone's going to be different in how they handle like, I guess, social media. And I know that like it's hard because it's such an oversaturated field, like with makeup. But I think that ultimately, like, I've never wanted to sound like, you know, a needy like person, and so I've never been that person to be like, I need this and you need to get me there or whatever, like to any brand or anybody usually ever. But I think that like showing off your work is gonna do a lot more with the like relationship you have with those brands if they do start to notice you, because nobody wants to feel like hounded down.
And if your work is good and you stand behind it and you're doing everything you can, it will happen.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to hunt down Jeffree Star and post all your pictures, you know what I mean? If you just keep using the right hashtags and keep just like being smart about it, I think it's a much better way to go about it because you're presenting yourself much more professionally to them instead of asking or begging or anything like that. Yeah, I'm trying.
Also, don't buy your Instagram followers.
No, they know that you buy them.
There was this one guy, I'm not gonna name names. This person was like saying, oh, you should check out my thing or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'll check out your page, whatever. I usually do that for anybody. And like the quality of the photos and like even the makeup look themselves are god awful. But then you look at his like follower count and also the likes and like how many people are like messaging him, it like doesn't add up to the quality. And it's easy to pick out like, this is fake.
It's so easy to spot, and brands are not stupid. They don't have unlimited amounts of spots on their PR list. They're gonna see your followers are not real, that your engagement is not at the right level for how many followers you have, and it's just gonna look really bad.
In general, it's just...
It doesn't help at all. It only hurts you.
Yeah, I think it's just like your hard work should show off more to the brand, and they're gonna appreciate that a lot more. And obviously, they're gonna see you more as legitimate, and no one wants like a fake Instagrammer basically like on their page.
Yeah,
like you're not gonna deceive them. So
and
don't.
What's it gonna matter? Like if you're showing your work to like 100 people that love you versus 10,000 people that aren't real.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Also, I hate when people go to my posts and they're like, hey, you should go and like my things or you should follow me or whatever. And I don't care about the follow train. Like you live your life.
Gosh.
But at the same time, it's like, if I like you, I'm going to like you. And if I don't, I don't. Like...
If I had $1 for every 16-year-old aspiring MUA, check out my page, I would not...
Call them all out. They're all out there.
There's so many.
Becky, Stacy, and Linda right there. Let them all out.
It's just like, what's the point with that kind of like promoting yourself and with buying followers or anything like that? What's the point? Because it's not genuine. You just want people to follow you because they like your work. Yeah. That's the only way you're going to get anywhere.
Well, that's the tea on that. Sis. I wish I had a glass so I could just be like,
I know, I was like, we should
full
have
Courtney act. Like,
I think I covered everything on here. I'm just trying to think. I mean, the only thing, which I probably should have said this at the beginning, it's really slow going at first. And I know it can be frustrating. And I tell people all the time, my first 3,000 was the hardest 3,000 I ever had to get. And once I got there, like, it just kind of starts snowballing. Try not to get, like, frustrated if it's going really slow. It is a slow process, but it gets better, and you're going to be learning every day, and you're going to be growing every day. And it's something that if you really love it, and you put your heart into, and you work smartly, smartly, is that even a word?
It's more smarter.
If you are more smarter, then you'll get there.
I mean, our brains are just too huge for this camera, if we're going to be perfectly honest about it. But no, I think that in general, like, I'm only at 950, so I'm not, like, anything to brag about. I'm not the Star is Born crazy moment. But, like, I think that a lot of it is that, like, your numbers are going to fluctuate so much. Like, I'll, like, get super close to, like, getting to that 1,000, and then it'll trickle down a little bit because usually they're bot accounts that like and follow and whatever. But ultimately, it's just being consistent and just, like, don't give up. Just, like, keep at it. And, like, eventually, like, things will start to come into play. You know, people just have to, like, obviously take the time to actually get to know you and look at you. And so just keep at it. Keep being relevant, keep, like, showing your face everywhere that you can. And that's ultimately what you can do. Also, maybe join some Facebook groups and things like that. Like, join your communities and have people recognize you in your community and not just people that are on the internet vaguely out on Instagram. And I think also challenge yourself. Like, you know, I think for me, I always try to challenge myself in terms of color schemes of things that make me uncomfortable. Or I'll get inspired by, like, shapes in terms of, like, eyeshadow, because people do some pretty crazy looks online. And so get inspired by other people. Like, sometimes if I just don't know what I'm going to do for the next look, I'll be inspired by someone and give them a shout out as well. Be like,
that's
this
a
is
great
my interpretation.
Point. I feel like people a lot of the time are afraid to, like, inspiration because they want to pretend it was their own idea. But I feel like tagging your inspiration can only help you, because then people that like them get to see your work, and you can also get them to see your work. And it's just, don't ever steal someone's idea and just pull it off as your own. I know, like, pretty much everything's been done, but if you get inspired by someone, recreate their work, tag them, let people know. It's a great way. It does nothing but help you, and I really feel that. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves is when people do that.
Just be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
there's no shame in finding inspiration from somebody else.
No. It's
such a compliment, and it's awesome to show that you're not afraid to admit it.
Well, and I've had a couple people that, like, I, like, get inspiration by, and they'll follow me because they enjoyed, besides that I'm obviously being honest about it, they enjoyed my interpretation of it, or they enjoy, like, whatever else I was creating. And so you build a friendship and a bond with other people that are around you. And I mean, don't be an asshole. Basically, just don't be a fake ass bitch, okay?
Just be genuine, be nice, do it with your heart.
Start up drama whenever you can. What? I just pictured it's like, what would Miley do? Start a controversy. Be honest, but also be problematic.
I'm gonna have to work on that. Well, thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Jordan, for stopping by.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Do you want to shout out your stuff real quick? We probably should have done that at the beginning, but...
My name is so obnoxious. I might change it. It's fine. But my name is LOL, the letter K, THX, babe. So all together, LOL, K, thanks, babe. So you can follow me there on Instagram. I will also be doing YouTube eventually. I'm trying to, like, do some editing on a couple videos. So that'll be in the works as well. You have, like, a separate channel, right, for the, like, wine?
Oh, yeah.
What if we just shout that out?
Because I'm embarrassed of it.
Yeah, why not? And if you also want to see this queen with some wine, some good old-fashioned alcohol, we'll be doing a review on some wigs. And I think that's going to be super fun.
Yeah, we're actually, Jordan doesn't know, but we're going to be doing a little interview with him about his drag. So if you want to learn more about this cutie right here, then...
This is the first I'm hearing it, so I'm like shook. Well, I'm just going to put my good wig on, my church lady wig, flip it to the side and be like, what's good, sis? What's tea?
Okay, well, you all need to go see that. So that'll be on the Wig and Wine Wednesday YouTube channel, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.